Today's guest, 10-time ATP champion, Wimbledon semifinalist, Sam Querrey joins us. Sam, it is great to see you. Thanks for checking in. We've seen you play a couple matches around Southern Cal last few weeks. How you doing? How's the family doing? How are you getting through all this?
We're good. You know, look, life's starting to get a little better. It's starting to become a little easier to leave the house. I can practice a little bit. But in the meantime, it's been fun to be home with my wife, and we have a 3-month-old son named Ford, and so that's been great to be with him every day.
And Sam, also, it's nice to hear all the accolades that Ford's doing really well. But tell us about Ruby. How's the dog doing? How's the dog handling, quarantine with your beautiful bride and the good-looking man Ford right there?
Ruby's doing well. She gets swatted away from the baby about 25 times a day, but to make up for it, we're constantly walking her. I mean, we wake up, I take her on a walk. She gets 3 other walks during the day, then an evening walk, and then my mom might come over and walk her. So she's getting plenty of attention.
Yeah, that's good. Good to hear. Good to hear. So you did get out to play, and you've been playing some of the matches and played in the home court advantage event. You've played in a lot of different things that are new beginnings, right? How has it felt, and what did it feel like playing the home court advantage on the clay courts?
Definitely, yeah. As you see in the photo there, I played that a couple weeks ago, and they had another, I guess it would be the home court advantage part 2 this past weekend at Santa Barbara. And it's been fun to play just some real matches. You know, we did a fast 4 format, and to go out there and kind of just play against some other guys was definitely fun, and it was great to kind of break up the monotony of just staying at home for the last 4 or 5 months. But on the flip side, I'm ready for some real events to hopefully start in the next couple months. I'm looking forward to World Team Tennis. Hopefully the U.S. Open can happen. But in the meantime, we're going to see more and more little events like this pop up.
Sam, I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about your role on the ATP Tour Player Council. You have a constituency that you have to communicate with and then get back to the ATP board. I'm wondering sort of what your take is on this chatter. We're hearing about a possible ATP WTA merger and sort of what the chatter is among the players that you've been talking to, if they think it's either A, a good idea, or B, realistic.
I think most people think it's a good idea. It's kind of been talked about, I guess, since Andrea, our new CEO of the ATP Tour, came into effect at the beginning of the year. And unfortunately, with the coronavirus, I don't know if that's making it easier or harder to merge things together. But, from the little bit of chatter that it had for 2 or 3 months, it seemed like it was getting a lot of positive feedbacks, and a lot of good can come from that, as far as kind of, giant TV deals and making the sport really kind of one body rather than the multiple bodies that it has now.
Of course, one of the events where you guys are already side by side is the U.S. Open, which we are now hearing is more and more likely to happen. Obviously, no fans, but the USTA announced some of the other conditions that they're thinking about installing for this year, everything from chartered flights to fewer lines people and ball kids, limited locker room access. As a player, based on what you've read, will you be comfortable going to the U.S. Open given the conditions they're describing?
I would. I mean, I'm probably maybe one of the few. I'd be comfortable getting on a flight tomorrow. I'd be comfortable if they had a full lines crew and a full 128 draw. But it looks like they're going above and beyond to make it safe for the players, to make sure they obey the guidelines that are set out. And so I'll 100% be ready and be comfortable to play with, especially with the guidelines that they're kind of putting out right now.
There's still a lot to be determined, Sam. So in the meantime, you guys are having to find new ways to communicate. And obviously in this day of social media, there's always Twitter and Facebook. Oh, look, there we go. There's Sam Querrey's Twitter. Wait a second. Sam, is that really the last time? Is that 2030? Is that the last tweet from Sam Querrey? Come on, give it up.
I'm not very. I don't really tweet. I'm really active on Twitter, so that's the last one, I guess.
Okay, you an Instagram guy, or no?
Yeah, but I'm not that good at it. I don't post that much. I don't have that many exciting things to share with the world.
I think your agent, John Tobias, is going to call you right after this and say, Sam, get very active. We want you out there. We want you very visible.
When I do put up a post, though, it's a good post because it's only coming out every month or so.
You know that when Sam posts on Twitter, the locusts are coming out for their every 7 years.
Yes.
I was thinking, Sam, you're in your 30s now. You've been at this pro tennis thing for 15 years or so, traveling the world. I know you wouldn't have chosen to do it like this, but in a way, is it a blessing in disguise for you to be able to spend some time at home to really have some time to heal your body and get everything worked out and maybe start fresher than you've been in a while when this thing gets back to normal?
No, I would rather. I mean, look, I don't know how many more years I can play. Let's call it 4 or 5 years. I don't want to miss out on a whole year right now. I wish we were still going. I wish I was at the French Open right now. I wish this coronavirus never happened. I wish Ford and my wife were in Europe with me, and I could just kind of keep the wheels going. And I feel fine right now, but I also felt fine earlier in the year. So
I was trying to put a positive spin on it, Sam. Thanks for working with me on that.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
Sam, I was just wondering, though, there's so many different challenges. Without a starting line, how are you trying to kind of periodize your training versus your tennis? How are you able to do that?
That's been the toughest part. I've been hitting 2-3 times a week, kind of doing some things in the gym to just kind of maintain a base. And then I think when I really know when there's a starting time, let's say that's September 1st, I think if I can give myself 6 to 8 weeks of training every day on the court, in the gym, I believe that I can be back to a kind of the level that I was at before this hiatus, if you want to call it, started. So once the tour gives us that kind of, all right, this is when we're starting, I'm going to kind of work backwards from there and put together a plan.
Sam, thanks for checking in. Please say hi to Abby and to Ford and to Ruby. And Paul's willing to walk the dog also if anybody gets tired over at your place.
Yeah, just let me know, Sam.
I'm going to take him up on that. All right, thanks, guys.
Sam Querrey joining us on TC Live.